live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another post-game episode of Washed Up. I am joined live by Mr. TJ Haws and the one, the only Sean Farnham, ESPN's best of the best. Still calls me Ivan Drago, so that's why I keep him around.
If he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies. Obviously, I'm Eric Mika. We're excited to have you here, Sean. Thank you for being here. We're going to break down this BYU Texas Tech game that just wrapped up. Final score 84-71. Welcome to the show. We hope this is a regular occurrence. Thanks for being here.
No worries. Listen, if any BYU fans are feeling bad about what just happened, I'm looking out the corner of my eyes. You see me looking over. My Niners are down 27-6 and just threw an interception. So kind of tough to watch that one. That's
sports, right? That's why we love it. Not the lows are what gives us the highs, right? Like, can that be the theme of the night? Like this is
maybe. I mean, it's a bad theme to have on a Saturday, but sure, let's go with it.
All right. Well, we're gonna have Sean here join us for the first three segments. Those tuning in already know how this goes. The first segment, we call it Wordle. To give Sean some context, we call it Wordle because TJ and I and one of our other buddies, Evan Troy, shout out Evan. We play Wordle every single day, and that dates a couple of years. And we even send in the scores. Like, it's actually pretty pathetic. So we call it Wordle. We're gonna go one word gut reaction. We're all gonna say it at the same time. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Hurts.
Momentum.
I didn't hear Sean. What'd you say?
I said pressed.
Pressed. TJ said momentum.
Momentum.
I'm gonna start there because you're losing me on momentum.
Well, after watching this game, it's a game of runs. It's momentum.
Yeah.
I felt like we had it there for a little bit, and we were rolling. That crowd was quiet. We were making play after play. We started knocking down some shots. It felt like I was like, man, we're gonna run away with this. We're gonna put them away, and we're gonna win by 15. And then, man, they just went on like what was it?
It was 20-4 run.
20-4 run that
might have been more.
Just silenced us, and we looked like we couldn't really get anything going. And so it is a game of runs. We were on the poor end of that, unfortunately.
Yep. To your point, that's why I said pressed. I think they felt pressure. Sure. They put pressure on themselves, and they played like they were pressed, even though they weren't. And you started to see that at both ends of the floor. There was no ball movement whatsoever at the offensive end. It was all one-on-one. And then defensively, they were caught in rotation, scrambling. They were more spread out. They were fouling three-point shooters. I think Texas Tech ended the game going 7 of 7 from the field to end the game. And when you start chasing, any sport, right? If you're chasing and you get caught in rotations, it's over. It's done. You're getting cooked at the defensive end. And because they couldn't get stops, then offensively it was drive right into traffic, drive into trouble, drive into contested shots. Subsequently that run that started really when Rob Wright went to the bench for that minute after he hurt his finger on the N1 play. Goes to the bench for a minute. They score 6 points in that minute. And then I thought Dave Fleming, I am biased to Dave, obviously, said in the course of the game, he said, like, they never were able to recover from that 6-0 run, which it shouldn't have been like that catastrophic, but then it just started to compound.
Yeah.
And we've all played in those games. Like, look, I lost a game by 48 points when I was at UCLA. Like, it's the worst loss still to this day in program history. Subsequently, I've also been in the biggest win still in NCAA history by a lower seeded team over a higher ranked team in the NCAA tournament still to this day. So I've been on both sides of it. And when it starts to go, how do you react and how do you shorten it? Runs will happen, especially on the road in conference play. We all know that. You guys, it doesn't matter. WCC, Mountain West Conference, Big 12, SEC. There's going to be runs. The team that will win is able to slow that run down or mitigate that run to a manageable separation. And down the stretch of the game, BYU felt the pressure of the moment, and they felt pressed, and they did not execute at either end of the floor nearly as crisp as we've seen them throughout the course of this season.
So follow-up questions. I want to take advantage of you being here, Sean. I wanted to let you take the mic because I think those are great points. One, I felt like our defense was doing the opposite in the first half. Like I was texting with our buddies, and I was like, man, I feel like this might be the best we've looked on flying around, on the peel and switches, on recovering. Like we made some mistakes. I tweeted this, I put it in the group chat. I'm still wondering what we were thinking on the Christian Anderson pick and roll defense. Like the guy was just coming off and letting him fly. He had like 4 or 5 just wide open threes because the big had no presence there. But outside of that, I felt like the first half was great. We're kind of known as a second half team. Where did all that go? Or maybe you saw the first half as different. I felt like we looked excellent defensively. And then secondly, this is a long-winded question. For BYU to do that, right? Like, I'm not saying go add somebody mid-season, which you can do nowadays, or change, like the lineup. Like, with what we have going the rest of the year and how we're going to, win games, what do we have to do what you just said and stop those runs? Like, what has to change from tonight to other games that we're going to be in? Because we have our back half of the Big 12 is killer. We're going to be in a lot of games like this.
Well, I mean, one is I think that you need the simplest is you got to share the basketball. 5 assists.
Yep.
That's not enough. You got to share the basketball. I am a big man fan. You know that. But I love watching the big guys dominate. And Kevin Kata had 2 shots tonight.
I know.
Mm-hmm. 2. Like you couldn't get him in a pick and roll and have him roll to the rim and throw like some of those lobs that we saw against Clemson. Like they just everything was off the bounce. And Texas Tech is really good at that, right? Like they defend the 3-point line. They kind of pack in the 3-point line. That's kind of the philosophy of Grant McCasland. He wants to pack line defense. He wants to force you to take contested shots. And they're physical within that. But there's a couple of things that BYU's done great all season long, right? BYU has made more free throws than their opponents have attempted. Now, that wasn't the case tonight.
Yep.
All right. The first half, they were able to score inside the paint. And at halftime, adjustments obviously made. They did score 16 points in the paint in the second half, but they got outscored in the second half in points in the paint. And then there has been this persistent problem over the last couple of games. And I saw it in the TCU game, saw it in a couple of games before that, the inability to consistently knock down the 3-point shot. Yep. Like this team is not shooting the ball very well right now. And they have to be able to knock down A, open looks, B, when you have a contested look, lift, drive, get the, part of the thing too is if you're going to look to attack the paint, it is always easier to score on the paint on the second touch of the paint. Meaning drive, get 2 feet in the paint, kick, next guy drives. Now the defense is expanding out. You're able to drive, and there's a seam there. And against TCU, they did that one time in the second half, and I try to make that point in the course of that game, is again, that second touch in the paint is where you're going to find success if teams are loading and clogging in the paint. And they did not get many second paint touches on one possession because the shot was usually coming on the first possession. Yep. So you have to move the ball. You have to shift the defense. When you're playing teams like Texas Tech, I know Iowa State took 2 losses this week. Houston, who I get to see tomorrow. Houston is still Houston. Look at their defensive efficiencies. Yeah. Their numbers are ridiculous. We don't even talk about them. They're 7th in the country, and we're talking a lot about other teams in the Big 12. I hate to tell people this, but Houston's won the last 2 conference championships. Houston looks like the team that's more than capable of doing that because they rebound the ball. They have experience at the guard position. Kingston Flemings has been unbelievable. Like, you play them, it's going to be a grinder possession game. It's not going to be up and down. It's not going to be free flowing. So you have to shift the defense to multiple sides of the court. And then when you drive, you have to play on balance. And if they overhelp, if they bring 2 to the ball, you've got to read that before you pick up your dribble in the teeth of that double team. Like, you've got to anticipate that double team going. Yeah. Right? Like, and as you start to see that window start to close, you've got to make the read before they close in and lock you in and you pick up the ball. Because once you've picked it up and they've locked you in, as a big man, you can wall up. As a guard, you're swiping.
Yeah, your pass is going all the way rainbowing over. You give time to recover, 100%.
Right.
100%. I think you hit it right on the head. You got to move the ball, like to stop these runs, to get right back into it. And for us specifically at BYU to do that, we got to move the ball. We got to hit threes. You mentioned Kaba missing a little bit tonight. I felt like it was packed, and I know that's Texas Tech, but you can stay packed when you're not making shots, right? Like that's what you just said, and I totally agree. If you got Kennard Davis going 0 for 6, AJ was 1 for 3. Overall, we shot 25% from the 3. Like, you can stay packed. And now everything we had going at Clemson and Miami and all these, big games, like, they're not there because there's no reason to leave, right? So I think that's spot on.
Yeah, and I mean, just going off what you said, Sean, there's so much, like you're saying, us on the defensive end, we were caught in rotations, we were caught moving a lot tonight, and
chasing.
Eric and I have said this all year. It's like really good teams, they take away the stuff that you do well. Like, you're gonna have to find ways to win in more than one way, and it like sometimes getting that second paint touch, it just seems so complicated. Like, we're just so one time, if we don't have it, we're not really together offensively, I'd say, sometimes. Sticky. And yeah, it gets sticky, and and I guess when it works, it's really good. But when things start to get slow, like, we got to figure out a way to just get teams in rotations, because these Texas Tech, Houston, Iowa State, all these really good teams, they are great on-ball defenders.
Yeah.
Great on-ball defenders. And so if that's our offense and we're not getting that defense into rotations and things like that, then it's going to be a challenge to beat those teams, especially on the road, especially.
And I think that it's easy to overreact too, right? Like the initial reaction for anybody is, oh my gosh, you lost a game in league play. What's wrong?
Yeah.
It's the Big 12. Like this conference,
Totally.
There's a reason why this is the 5th time in the last 6 years it's had the best record against the other power conferences in the non-con.
Right.
There's a reason why this conference consistently has teams that are ready to compete for a national championship at the end of the year. And, you go into a great environment like Texas Tech is, and it is. And, oh, by the way, they also have the reigning Big 12 Player of the Year. And we talk about these freshmen a lot in this conference. I'll tell you this, Christian Anderson's a first-round pick. And anybody that wants to argue with me on that, I'll go. I saw it last year with his ability just to score the basketball when he was playing off-ball, when they had Elijah Hawkins as their point guard. I thought there was glimpses of him just as a scorer having the ability to play at that next level. Very good defensive player, too, by the way.
My gosh.
And then now this year, to watch the way he is sharing the basketball, being the lead guard, having the ball in his hands, making the right decisions, it's been very impressive. And, the guys on the call, Fran and Flem, they were talking about the Big 3, and they have their own version of the Big 3. And guess what? 2 of those guys didn't take a break the entire game.
I know.
It's crazy.
2 of them went for 40 minutes, and that's Toppin and that's Anderson. And you can call it a Big 3. I call it a Big 2 plus. Because those 2 dudes can win you a basketball game, and they were outstanding tonight, and you're going to see that. And so you go on the road, you lose a game, you got a little bit of time off now to kind of get healthy. Guys have been battling with the flu. AJ's shoulder was hurt the other night. That pop that he took the other night, and maybe I didn't do a good enough job describing it, but that you guys saw it, I'm sure, when we showed it on replay. It didn't look good.
Well, he had like a dead arm, I thought
he had a dead arm for about a good 30 seconds, and like in transition told them, do not throw me the ball.
Yeah.
That
waved off Rob. Yeah.
Then you saw him with the tape on tonight. And it kind of was one of those nights where the ball got stuck. Guys played too much one-on-one. Defensively, they got spread out. And all of those things that we're talking about are things that Texas Tech does a really good job with.
Do you think – I got a couple questions. Do you think, though, like at this point well, actually, I want to back up. First and foremost, I think you're appeasing some BYU fans that were maybe mad at you for the TCU game, saying they're always going to be mad at you. Right?
if I say they're playing a tight game, someone's mad at me. I trust me. It's like, here's the deal.
In a similar position to the referees. Like, someone is going to hate the commentator, right? Like,
in my role in my role every game. Like if I go to like the end of the game and I like look and someone says you stunk tonight, and it's the guy, and then the other guy's like, I think you're the greatest commentator of all time. I'm like, okay, yeah, like pretty much the guys on the winning team felt really good. The guys on the losing team didn't. And then sometimes when there's expectation level that you're supposed to like crush somebody and you don't, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, whoa, what's going on?
Listen, as a friend, just listen to the positive ones. I think you're fantastic.
I don't listen to either one of them, to be honest.
No,
because here's the deal: if you listen to one of them, you have to listen to both.
That's true. That's totally
because you can't just take the sugar and become diabetic. It just doesn't work that way.
Well, I think you're doing a good job making. Oh, my light just fell. Making Cougar fans feel a little bit better, and I agree. I think there has to be some kind of emphasis on, like, listen, this is a good team on the road in, I think, very clearly the best league in the country right now, right? Like, we're going to take our licks. We're not going to go undefeated. The hope is that we learn and get better and move on. My question to you, and then we'll probably just have one or two quick follow-ups after that, is where do you honestly, especially after a game like this, where I think BYU has been tested maybe more than the national pundits do. I think they've shown that they are a top tier team, that they're going to get a great seed eventually in March, and they're going to compete in the Big 12. After a game like this, and maybe your thought hasn't changed a lot on them, where do you see them in the Big 12? Where do you see them in the landscape of the top 25?
I have thought that they were the fourth best team in this conference for this entire season so far. And I don't think that's changed. And, you've had Arizona playing as well as anybody in the country, obviously still remaining undefeated, one of three undefeated teams still remaining in college basketball. You look at Iowa State, obviously they took 2 losses this week. I think there's a little bit of reason to be concerned with that. Sometimes their offense gets really stuck, and if they can't turn you over and manufacture points off their defense, I think they do struggle to score the basketball. I think that showed up a little bit this week. Houston, again, we're not talking enough about Houston. We're not, and that's on me as a national voice at ESPN. We're not talking about Houston. They are still Houston guys. Like Uzan is still in a Cougar uniform. JoJo Tugler is still in a Cougar uniform, and that dude has more rebounds at the offensive end than he does at the defensive end. I mean, they just it's just what they do. And they added
crazy stat.
They added more McDonald's All-Americans this year, and those guys are playing well. So I think that BYU is right there at 4 in the conference, and 4 in the conference, and Texas Tech obviously is going to make its claim that they should be in that top 4 as well. Especially based on the fact that they won this game. But I don't overreact to road losses in conference play. I think that this team right now has to figure out a couple things. One, there's a couple things that people have been talking about. I certainly have been talking about it. And sometimes I think that, maybe BYU fans don't want to hear it. And it's just the reality of it is limited bench production has been an issue all season long. And there's going to be a time where you need somebody to come off the bench and score 15 points. And if you can consistently get somebody to come off the bench and score 8 to 10 points a game and grab 4 or 5 rebounds, or just even knock down a couple of 3-point shots to loosen up the interior of the opponent's defense. When you come off the bench, and maybe because I came off the bench so frequently, I understand this. But when you come off the bench, your number one role is to disrupt or change what's going on the court.
That's why you're getting thrown in the mix, or else they would have just kept the guys that are rolling, right?
Right. Yeah. Like, okay, hey, that guy's not doing something. You go do this. Just go. What is that? And when you go to the bench right now, I feel as if KY is looking at the bench and going, all right, I wonder who's going to show up. Yeah. I wonder what they're going to do for me. I hope they can do this. And that's not necessarily the most reassuring thing, right? Totally. And then conversely, you need to figure out how to knock down 3-point shots. Too many missed wide open threes. Too many missed opportunities to kick out to good threes. And just too much one-on-one. And those two things, if you fix those two things, I think this team will be fine. I think that as you move through conference play, plenty of wins are going to be there. At the end of the season, you're wearing a home color uniform in the NCAA tournament and having a chance to advance. Period.
Totally. Totally.
Yep.
No, that's great. We'd love to get your take on our last segment here with you. Just going along with, that bench talk. Our next segment is called Something or Nothing. And today, after watching that game, you look at the stat sheet, we did not bring any guards off the bench in this game. So KY deciding just to go to our 3 bigs off the bench, is that something or nothing?
Listen, we can make a lot about bench production. Do you know how many points Texas Tech had off their bench? 0.
Right.
0. And I do think that sometimes this is probably more of an NBA mentality, by the way. You want more shots for the best players on the team, right?
Wait, hold up. They had 8.
They had 8 points off their bench?
They had.
I think you're wrong.
Wait, why am I seeing Nolan Groves had 3 and Leon Horner had 5?
No.
Are you looking at the right game?
Yeah, I'm looking at.
They had 0.
71.
They had 0. I'm on Stat Broadcast.
Hey, listen, this isn't me. This is ESPN. All right. Okay.
Well, go to Stat Broadcast. Stat Broadcast is the official box score.
In my life, it was 5 and 3. Now it's 0 and 0. Okay.
It is 0.
The ESPN gods are watching you. They got your back.
Okay. Well, right, it is continue. 0 points off the bench for Texas Tech. So we make a lot about bench points, and you make a lot about substitution pattern. All right. So I would tell you this. All right, if you want to make a substitution at the guard position, who are you putting in? Dawson Baker's not available. Who are you putting in?
I know.
Who are you putting in? So you can say okay, we want to sub more at the guard position, but who are you subbing in? Look at the bench. You guys tell me. You guys, you're washed up. No, but you're sitting here. So
ouch. I know it's the name of the show, but it still hurts, Sean.
Okay, but who would you put in?
No, you can't. Yeah, you can't.
So again, you deal with what you have and you try to put your team. And I think KY has done an unbelievable job, to be honest with you. Yeah. I think BYU is in great hands with Kevin Young. Kevin Young knows exactly what he's doing, guys. And every time I go to a shoot around, every time I talk to him about stuff, there's so many conversations that I've had with him that are not even for air, that are just I sit there and we just dive into hoop.
Yeah, he's a hoop guy, 100%.
And it is so much fun just to talk to him about it. So he and his staff are going to push the right buttons.
Yep,
okay.
Totally.
But here's the thing too. So is every other staff. This is the Big 12. You got Hall of Famers all over the place in this conference. You got guys with multiple national championship game appearances, titles that they've won already. Houston obviously was just seconds away from winning one last year. This is the reality of playing in this conference. Now, with that, you get the AJ DeBonces to be interested in coming to BYU because of KY, because of the brand and what he plays and all those things. And you get all of those bells and whistles, but yet you're also playing against the best teams in the country. Yeah. Period. You are. Yeah. And so that it happens. So, but I something or nothing, here's this. The something is you need to get something out of those bigs. Okay? Yep. You need to find a way to utilize them, because when you don't put the ball in the hands of your 5-man, you know what that does? It allows JT Toppin to just run around and do whatever he wants to do and barely pick up any fouls.
Yep. So true.
Yep.
So so you have to manufacture a little bit of offense through those bigs. So the something to me is you have to play a little bit more from your bigs to apply pressure, because otherwise, guess what JT Toppin does? He goes in rotations. Guess what he does? He blocks AJ DeBonsa on a help side rotation that eventually goes off of his hand and goes out of bounds.
Yep.
And that's because the bigs are not productive right now at the offensive end of the floor. That's where you'd like to see Keba Keita in those high ball screens, those rolls like against Clemson, where it forces the back line to have to make a decision. Or on drives, what I think, to me personally, on those drives, like when Rob Wright is driving, those bigs are holding their position on the weak side block. That means the help side rotation is one step.
Right. There's not the movement that there needs to be. 100%.
So you either, on that drive, you lift up the lane a little bit and get behind the ball, or you take a step away. That one step away, now if he's going to have to go over, that's still one step defensively, but now he's 2 steps to recover back to that big on the dump down or a lob up to the dunker spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not seeing a lot of those dunker spot lobs for the 5-men right now for BYU, and I think that's something that they can try to work on and try to incorporate a little bit more in the offense. And then that's going to force that back line to have to get in rotations a little bit, react, maybe get in foul trouble, soften up the interior of your opponent's defense. But if the interior of your opponent's defense can build walls, hold their position, and have almost no fear of picking up any fouls whatsoever, they're going to be highly effective, especially in this conference.
Man, Sean breaking it down. We took him 10 minutes longer than we promised him. Sean, thank you for being here. This was big time. I think a very balanced approach. I don't think Cougar fans can be mad at you for anything that you said.
Somebody will be mad at me. Don't worry about it.
But guess what? Someone's going to be mad at me too, and it's okay. I'm going to sleep great tonight.
Hey, it's great seeing both of you. I loved calling both of your guys' games when you guys were playing. It was so much fun, and that was my first kind of taste to BYU basketball. And you guys did it at such a high clip. It really made that environment fun to go call, and some really good wins and some difficult losses, but it was fun along the way.
No, I didn't lose a single game. I know what you're talking about. Well, Sean, thank you. You are the freaking man. Appreciate you. Good luck tomorrow calling that game, and we'll talk soon.
All right, guys. Be good.
Thanks, Sean.
Yep. See you, brother. What a guy.
Yeah, what a guy.
Dude, he's just so good at what he does. Like everything he's saying, I'm just like, yep. It's like just, not from like a fan. It's like I hear a coach talking, and that's because he played at a high level. And I mean, you think I think commentators, this is so outside of the game, but like I think commentators get so much flack for like, you know, they tell the same stories. It's like, guys, do you know, like, there's not that many stories to tell. Like, as long as they call the game and they're seeing and calling out what they're supposed to be seeing and calling out, then they're doing a terrific job, and he does a great job, right?
It's
like,
true. You tell me the same stories every day.
It's really hard to know a million things about a million players. They're calling games all the time. So, like, of course, you're going to hear the same stories here and there, totally. Right? Like,
well, I was going to say, like, it's truly amazing that he can plop into our podcast here, talking in depth about BYU, and it's like he's been, you know, on this podcast this whole year. He's like, he knows everything about the Cougs, you know, and then he could also just go plop into 25
any.
It's like
maybe 100, dude. Yeah. I think you could do 100.
You're talking about every bench guy. You're talking about the coach. You're talking about just the last game they had, production in that game, like all this stuff. It's like, wow, it is remarkable.
Yep.
He's really good. So
he's the man. Big fan. Glad he was able to jump on. I think we're spoiled to have people like that jump on here. All right, we're gonna jump into the chat room. It's been popping. I mean, I think Sean got it popping for us. Yeah, actually, Adam Sweetland, he was all over these comments, but Bo Nix, do you see that? Broke his ankle.
That's quite the comment on our show.
Alex MacArthur, we needed a timeout so bad during their long run. I don't want to pretend to know when people need to call timeout, when coaches need to call timeouts. Whenever I see these opinions, I never know what to say because, like, I never thought about it as a player. You know, you're just out there. Like, I don't know about you, and I want to get your take. Like, I never once thought, like, gosh, dang it, we need a timeout. Like, you're just pissed. Like, looking back, you're like, okay, yeah, that timeout was helpful because we readjusted. We were getting picked apart on this thing, but I never pay attention to that thing. I'm just out front about a weakness of mine. He's probably right though, right? Like I think that 20-4 run, I think you probably want a timeout there. It's you know, Sean said it so well. It's just hard to pick on KY. Like, you can't, and picking on him isn't even the right term, right? Like he's just a great coach, and I know he's going to adjust, and I know we're not built perfectly, but like, again, Sean hit it on the head. Like, you don't think that the coaches are having these same conversations? Like, yeah, we got to move the ball and we got to play to our strengths. We got to get our bigs involved. Like, especially if our rotation is nothing but bigs, of course they're saying all these things, right? So, you know, I'm not concerned about our coaches, you know, having their heads in sand. So, you know, interesting that we didn't have a timeout. I'm not going like, man, KY, what is he doing? Like, you know, maybe he's just rolling the dice. Maybe he was just seeing what his team would do. Maybe who knows, right? Like, it's always deeper with these guys and all their analytics.
No, I completely agree with that. There's something to all this stuff. Like, did you hear his comment after the TCU game? or it might have been the game before that. I can't remember, but he was talking about pulling guys out with their second foul and the analytics
Yeah.
behind.
Right.
And he's like,
right.
no, like the analytics show you're not likely to get the third. And so he trusts in his guys. Like every decision he makes, like don't think for 1 second that he's going, let's just do it. Like he's got like 20 guys on his staff that each one of them have a responsibility that he's going, hey, tell me what this is.
Yep.
And it's all based on data. Like he knows what he's doing. He's making
and to go a step farther, like we've heard from so many people, like obviously we know KY not on this level. We've never seen him like in a locker room in a team meeting, but like all I hear about is how excellent he is on the delegation part, right? Like he is allowing his guys to go do what he thinks they do great at, right? Like he's not bringing in everybody that, a really great defensive minded and offensive minded and recruiting and analytics guys, and then going like, all right, we're going to go with my gut on all of this, right? Like he lets these guys do their thing. And so I agree. I don't know, all that to say he's not perfect, right? Like guys miss things. There is like spur of the moment. There's emotion that goes into everything as well. So who knows, but as a viewer, it's like, hey, yeah, let's regroup a little bit. Right.
Yeah.
Because that, man, it was just so killer. It is so hard. I kept thinking about this while Sean was talking about like going on runs, and it hurts so bad as a player when you can go back and because some games it's just like they're better, right? Like they're just better. We got dominated every phase of the game. We didn't have the effort. We had guys hurt. We weren't making shots, all the above, right? But there are some games like I felt BYU is tonight, despite our shortcomings, despite the ball being sticky and the big three being inefficient and Kennard missing his shots and Caba not getting involved, all these things, boom, 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 boom. They went on a 20-4 run to be up 8. You know what I mean? Like we were right there and they bank a 3. We foul on a 3-point shot. Like it hurts so bad as a player when you can pinpoint like 3 or 4 plays, like, dang it. Like if we would have just not done boom, 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 then like we win that game, and you could, I'm sure you've said something like that. And I've been like, oh yeah, well, you make every shot and you win. Right. Like I'm sure I've been an a-hole on that, but like, I really felt like we were a couple plays away from going and stealing this. And I call it a steal because of, again, all these things we've talked about. The Big 12 is good. Texas Tech is talented. Like, I mean, we think we're spoiled with the cookie monster Crumble and Ryan Smith and all the, people that are behind the scenes that are helping on the NIL front and like what makes it possible to get KY and AJ and all this talent. It's like, so does Texas Tech. They got an oil tycoon, you know what I mean? So, it's like, bittersweet. There's things we gotta improve. Totally agree with Sean. We haven't seen it a ton, but we got to get that ball from side to side. But we obviously are talented, and we're a couple plays away, even in an ugly game, from stealing.
I know. This like being in the Big 12 is so fun. We just lost that game. It's going to do nothing to our resume. Like we just lost on the road. Like we still get to go figure this out. And every game's going to be tough. We just get to turn around and watch the film and go, all right, we need to pick this up. We need to do this better. We need to do this differently. And then we just go. It's awesome.
I'm going to jump in here with one more comment. There's been a bunch of comments in here, about the Big 3. They need to figure out how to get more guys involved. I think that's spot on. We've kind of touched on that. Brett Staley and Mike Smiley, shout out our boy Mike.
Mike, let's go.
Very similar. That's our guy right there. Need to start in Boop over Moo, and Boop is this year's Moat Mag. Need that lockdown defender. I get the comparison. Unfortunately, Boop isn't shooting 50% or whatever Mag was shooting at the end of the season. Here's that Mike Smiley comment too. But I don't know. I think that is, it probably gets discussed, just not because of how Kennard's playing, but I think more because of how Boop played tonight. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he brought crazy, awesome energy off the bench. He was picking up Anderson 94 feet. He was moving his feet. He was diving on the ground. He was getting boards. Where he fits into the offense when there's that other true 5, whether it's Beto or or Kaba, I think is kind of the limitation there. I don't know. I think maybe that conversation happens. Probably not. But Kennard does. It feels like he's in a funk. Feels like he's in a funk 100%. I think since the first, I got to look at the numbers, but it's like the first 6 or 7 games or something, he was shooting like 50%, and since then he shot like 10. So we got to get him out.
Everything is confidence. He's got to figure out just be confident. Keep shooting the basketball. Like we would always say growing up, my dad would always say, the bar is good shots. We're going to take good shots. We're going to continue to practice good shots. And if we're taking good shots, we can live with the results. And so I feel like that gives you the confidence. That gave me the confidence where it was like, even when you're going through a funk, it's like, I'm just going to take good shots. I'm not going to get rushed. I'm not going to take crazy. I'm just going to make sure that I'm taking good looks that give me a high chance of making shots. And like, he took good shots tonight, like we need him to score.
I agree.
So we need him.
Good shots part too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we need him to score, and that's going to come. And I'm 99.9% sure that the staff is feeding him that confidence. It's like, come on, dude, keep shooting the basketball. Like those are going to drop. And, for us to win big games, like we do need him to make shots. And I think he's going to it's going to come around.
Yeah. I mean, we're a Kennard Davis, shooting the ball a little bit better, Kaba getting more involved. And then, those plays I mentioned that just are kind of heartbreakers on defense, like away from this being a totally different result. Right. So I agree. And people don't realize like there's not like, unless you've been in it, it is so hard to understand. Like those funks are like depressing. They're so hard. Like I think one of the hardest times I've ever been through in my life, like not just basketball, like in my life, was when I was playing overseas one year and I just was in a funk. Like I went in this, it was like I had no confidence. I didn't know what my game was anymore, how it fit into the team. It felt like everything was against me. The team was, like it just sucked. And dude, I kid you not, I should go find this film. I'll never tell you what year and what team and what game. But like I went in this game and it was like I didn't even know. It's like I had the yips, bro. Like I didn't know what I was doing. It's like I forgot the whole scout, and like I caught the ball and just like fumbled it and like threw it as I dove out of bounds. Like I played like 2 or 3 like horrendous plays, and they just like benched me again. And then like this cycle just continues. Like, oh wait, they did give me a chance, and then I blew it even worse. And then like this cycle and this domino effect and this snowball just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's hard, but I agree. I think our staff has dealt with that at a high level. I think Kennard Davis is capable, and I think he's capable of having, stepping it up and getting back to where we need him to, because he has the right resources around him, right? And he's obviously and his scope is very simple. They're not asking. It's not like he's averaging 20 and now he's averaging 0. It's like, hey, we need you to be 3-and-D, and right now he hasn't been, right? Like, the whole defense I think was discombobulated, as Sean talked about in the second half. First half I thought we looked great. So I don't want to say like, oh yeah, it's Kennard's fault. Guys were going off. But yeah, we need him to hit a couple of those shots. We need the big involved. We need the ball just moving. And yeah, we have to also realize like very good team, very good conference. And this is who we are. Like on the flip side, like this is who we are. It's like everyone always says it with 3-pointers, like you live and die by the 3. It's like, hey, we're going to live and die by the team that we built. Like we got the big 3. They have heavy usage. We're not putting a lot of faith into the other guards coming off the bench. And even if we did, like they're just shooters, right? Like we knew that coming in. So it's tough, but we move on. We learn and we move on.
If a 10 is like we're pressing the panic button, I'm legit at like a 0 or a 1. I'm not even close. I'm like we're gonna that's those.
It's our second loss of the year.
Yeah, and they're good, and we're good, and like it's not like we're in this kind of nitpicking this game a little bit. It's like, we could have done this better. We could have done that better. Like, of course, The coaching staff knows that. The players know that. They're, we're fine.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say I'm at like a 2.5. Still low.
Oh, wow.
Like I don't like the trend just because TCU wasn't great. I know there were all these other things, but like at a certain point, it's like there's always something, right? Like there's always foul trouble. There's guys hurt. There's bad refs. Like there's always going to be something. We got to find a way to just never even be talking about it, right? And again, the staff, the players, they know that. They're saying this. I don't think a 2.5 is high. I'm saying let's see how we respond. We have a week. I think it's a timely break. We've got a week to get healthy. We've got a week to work on all these things because
feels like football.
It gets real right now, right? Like we've got Iowa State, we've got Texas Tech again, we've got Kansas who's kind of starting to turn it on, which we're going to talk about here. We've got Arizona. Like we've got a lot to work on before we make statements in those games. So I think it's a timely break. I'm going to call it a tune-up game because I think we're better than Utah, and we're at home. So hopefully those kind of weird feelings, because rivalry games are hard. We talked a lot about it last week. Rivalry games are really hard on the road. So hopefully we got some juice. We get healthy. We get clicking. We get the ball moving and our swagger back. I don't think AJ's fully healthy as well. I think he's probably still sick. It's not like you recover from a flu in 48 hours, back to 100%. Sean mentions that shoulder. So let's get healthy. Let's get the groove back. Let's iron some of these things out and let's get rolling. So that's why maybe 2.5 is too high. 1.96.
Still too high.
Just let's figure some things out. If we don't, I'll be a little bit worried, but right now, not worried at all. You said 1. So, all right, we're going to go into the big finish. Look at that. So here we got, now I need to remember, flipped. Utah at home, TCU. That's tough. That is tough for TCU because you and I were saying they're just all over the map, dude. I know they've had so many games. On our game, I felt like they were gonna get into the Big 12 tournament, but these games that you lose at Utah, like you go 0-2 this week, that's tough and that makes it really hard. But
you mean the NCAA tournament? But yes,
sorry, yeah, they're getting into the Big 12 tournament. They automatically get in that one. How about this one? Iowa State dropping 2 this week. Again, Sean referenced it a little bit. That's tough. It's always a question of does that speak to the parity within the league? Was Iowa State feeling themselves a little bit too much? I think it's a little bit more of the parity. He also mentioned they're having a hard time to score, but good for Cincinnati, man. Like that's a big dub. I still think that Iowa State is a very good team, very capable team. Yeah. And dude, UCF, in my opinion, is legit. 7-point game. I saw the highlights. I was kind of following. Like, I think they're a very solid team. I think they're an NCAA tournament team. They lose to Arizona by 7. Arizona is just a juggernaut. They just keep coming at you in waves. Totally. Let's see who else we got. We got West Virginia. Shout out our boy Don. Don, if you're listening, what's up? They down Colorado again. West Virginia, kind of a sleeper. They're winning a lot more games than they're losing in the Big 12. So they win at home against Colorado. Obviously, our game. Were there games last night?
Yeah, that's Kansas Baylor.
Kansas is starting to wake up, bro.
Dude, Kansas. Like I told you this the other day. It just feels like for a while Kansas has just seemed like almost like they just don't care as much. Like it seems like Bill Self. I hate saying that out loud, but like that's what it's kind of felt like. And like these past couple games, it's almost felt like they're going, all right, like we're done with the noise. Like we're freaking Kansas. Like that's what it's felt like. It's so. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they continue this, but like they've come out tough and they're like smacking teams. I mean,
dude. Sean said he's like, you got Hall of Famers everywhere, and I saw their, Coach Self's speech post game after their first win in conference. I can't remember who they beat. Who did they beat? Teach? They smoked them. Was that Iowa State?
Wait,
no, it was the week before. I can't remember. They kind of finally figured it out, and his speech was just like, never too high, never too low. Like, hey, that's a good win, and that's who we can be. So let's go figure it out, And it's just like, dang, like you think it's a down year for Kansas, and they just have an incredible team, or a legendary coach that obviously has still done a really good job putting together a very talented team. And so that I tweeted, I was mostly doing this to stir the pot, but like looking at our remaining schedule, and I'm like, it's wild to think that at Kansas might be the easiest game. Again, I know that's not true, but I was just trying to piss some people off. And it's like, but at that time when I tweeted, it was like they were struggling a little bit. Now it's like, no, that's not going to be easy, right? Like that is not going to be easy. Darren Peterson is going to be on 100, with AJ there. That narrative is going to just be, through the roof. And those guys know about it. Like, I know people know about it, but players really know about it. When it's like, oh yeah, the top guys in the league are going against each other. Those guys care. And that number one pick like matters to them and their people. So yeah, that's going to be a battle tomorrow. You have Houston at Arizona State, I believe. Houston again, juggernaut. Sean mentioned it. Did a really good job explaining it. Love the Big 12 hat that he was wearing. But we got a lot of people here, man. Thank you guys for jumping into the comments. You guys were all over it tonight. We really appreciate you being here. We are going to not see you for a week until we pick things back up. We've got BYU hosting Utah next Saturday, which is so weird. It feels so early because we just played them. And then quick turnaround. We play Arizona at home, which is that's quick. That's quick. We need this week.
Especially with a Sunday off. Yeah, you got to be well prepared.
100%.
We're not practicing on Sunday, folks. We're going.
Might be a little Sunday in the church walkthrough. Churches have gyms. Churches have courts.
Could be. Let's fold those chairs, put them off to the side. Let's get a little action going.
I mean, maybe they have their own version of just walk through. Maybe they have their own version of going back to 3-hour church, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They go 2 with everybody else, and a little third hour, little inspiration.
Yeah. You get the deacons to rebound for the boys.
Deacons would love that.
They would love that. They'd be all over that.
You raffle off a chance to be ball boy.
Come on now.
What a crazy thought that is.
That would be insane if you could do that.
I've told you about when my brother Jacob was a ball boy with the Celtics, right?
Yes.
I don't know if I've told the people. Should I tell the people?
Yeah, tell the people.
So growing up, quick backstory, grew up in Massachusetts. My dad, best friends to this day with the Celtics strength coach, Brian Dew. Shout out Brian, greatest guy on earth. He's like an older brother to my whole family. And he was their strength coach for 16 or 17 years. And so whenever they'd come to Utah after we moved here, we'd always like get to meet the players after the game or whatever. Like he's homies with all of them. So he'd get, I got to meet Ray Allen and I remember Eddie House one year came and said, what's up? And I think Avery Bradley actually, shout out Avery. He's not listening, but,
you don't know
that. And so one year he got my brother Jacob, who is, shout out Jacob. A lot of shout outs tonight. Shout out Jacob, who coaches JV for the San Juan Broncos, who were playing South Severe yesterday. So he gets Jacob to be a ball boy before the Jazz game, and he's rebounding. And Jacob when he was a kid, he was a little bit like he could be spacey. He could get lost in space and time sometimes. And so he's rebounding, and the guys are getting warm, and he just kind of starts like looking around like at the Jumbotron and like he's like staring at something, and then KG like starts. He's like, "Hey, mother effer, pass me the effing ball." And my brother's like 11. He's like, "Oh," like
poor kid, like scarred.
Yeah, go through like a shock and then pass it. He's like, "Oh," poor guy, but like scared the hell out of him, bro. Incredible.
KG, bro, just that is like so on brand for him.
It's amazing because like, to this day, every time I hear, think about KG, I just am like Jacob got cussed out by that guy.
That's so great.
Amazing. All right. Well, you're not worried. I'm not worried. It's a bad game. Guys, like, what are we, 16-2?
Yeah, we're good.
Like, we're good. We're good. We lost to 2 very good teams. Yes, we're going to drop in the rankings. Guys, don't freak out about it. We're a very good team. We're in a great league. We're gonna get a great seed in March, and we got things to work on. We're not perfect. Big deal, right? That's why I mean, I joke, but it's like that really is why the highs are high, right? It's because you have tough nights, right? So you want to lead us out, Mr. TJ Haws?
Yep. No, we're all good. Whether we went down 2 spots or up 2 spots, we're gonna play the exact same way on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree.
Against Utah. Nothing changes. It's not like these guys in the locker room are like, oh, sweet, we're top 10. Like, we're a better team now. Like, it does not matter to them. They approach their days the exact same every way. That's a professional mindset. KY is bringing that to these guys. They are going to be ready no matter what happens in that regard.
Yeah, I agree.
For all of you listening, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining in with us. We want to hear from you guys. Hit the Center Street Media hotline at 646-694-2538. That's 646-694-2538. Call with anything, your takes, your questions, rants, whatever you've got. We want to hear from you guys. So click the link tree in our bio and let us know what you're thinking.
Thanks, guys. We will see you next Saturday. Get to bed. TJ's going to be in bed in the next 15.
Could very well be true.
Hey, last